I don't like when other individual human beings aren't cool with each other. And the least cool thing imaginable is a fucking law.
Talking with famous people.
When you put restrictions on things like you're not allowed to possess LSD, but then people start coming up with these substances that aren't illegal, like research chemicals, which actually do more harm to your psyche than LSD. But if LSD wasn't illegal in the first place, then we wouldn't have the research chemicals.
If I have had my rights violated, I have the criminal justice system. If I have been subject to some sort of contractual violation, I have the civil courts. We add extra layers of crime that aren't crime, because a crime needs to violate someone's rights. It has to be a crime against somebody. We have all these crimes that aren't against anybody. In that prosecution, if you have committed a crime against somebody, it says it's prosecuting for crimes against and names the party you have committed a crime against. If it's a drug crime, it's against the people of California. But I haven't committed a crime against any of the people of California.
Because I see like breaches in your arguments all the time, but as soon as you just keep nagging on, like it's a long line, and I just lose it, you know.
Here's the thing, Jacob. There actually aren't quote-unquote breaches in my arguments because I'm a debate coach, and I've come to this position because it is the single strongest bulletproof, almost bulletproof position that you can attain, wins all the argument chains.
Bullshit. Let me tell you why. Because you have reached a position where you basically are so comfortable in your own knowledge that you basically consider it as a truth. And you don't, no. You don't consider it as a subjective truth. You consider it as sort of a universal truth. This is what truth for everybody, everywhere. This is the truth. Listen to me, because right now I'm speaking.
I hear you. I heard everything you said. You don't understand it. You're talking about me. What I think, what I believe. I'm talking about the arguments. Different.
I'm also talking about the fucking arguments.
No, you're not. No, you're making a statement about me and how I argue according to you, how you feel about it.
How you actually fucking act, dude.
Jacob, if you were talking about the arguments, you would say something like this. When you said this, and it conflicted with this, that's an example of you being contradictory with yourself, Eric.
Okay, you're speaking about fucking FBI and all that shit. You want some evidence. Okay, let's do it like this. Check through every fucking video you've uploaded about us speaking about discussing topics. Because 80% of the time we're discussing stuff, you're the one talking. In every fucking single discussion. Actually,
that's not relevant to what you're saying. It's just a personal attack. That's not relevant.
Sort of attacking how you frame your arguments.
It's not relevant. That's not what's going on here, for sure. You've had plenty of opportunity to express yourself. And
of course, it's relevant because I lose my thread of force or of thought because you speak so much.
No, it's because you avoid my questions and you don't want to be pinned down on anything.
Because your questions are so absurd. Your questions are so like diffuse.
Diffuse?
Okay, maybe it's a better word in Swedish. Abstract. I'll just say, Jacob, that when regulations get put on things, then cops search out people like just trying to make their living selling weed or whatever, you know. Then they get put in prison, and then they're forced to work for like $1 an hour, and then the government's just like, you can't make sure that it's not corrupt, and there's just so many other things that come along with those restrictions.
Nobody spends shared money wisely. It's always everybody get yours while you can before the budget stops passing out money to the various departments.
If someone were to sell you a fucking nuclear bomb on the black market.
Okay, now that's where, in fact, we run afoul of libertarianism's boundaries. My answer to that is rights all stem from ownership of one's own body.
But if it affects someone else's body...
But I'm trying to answer your question, but it's a complicated question. Are there boundaries in terms of what sort of weaponry individuals should be allowed to have? And should an individual be allowed to have a nuclear bomb? The answer is no, an individual should not be allowed to have a nuclear bomb. I would point out...
No. Stop right there. Okay, so why is that? Because what you're saying is that, okay, you wouldn't be allowed to have a nuclear bomb since it affects other people.
I know. Jacob, I've gone through all these argument chains a million times. I know your argument, okay? Let me answer it. So you're right. You found the boundary of libertarianism, which is in certain weapons of mass destruction, I don't believe individuals should be able to own them. I don't think it's necessary for an individual to own for example, a bomber with regular bombs either. It's like, well, what are you going to possibly do with that except bomb somebody? It is a limit. And what I would say in response to it is, well, we may have to make exceptions occasionally. It needs to be done from the right framework. That's what I care about more than anything else. It's not that it has to be perfect. I guess it's never going to be perfect. We're not going to have a perfect rights respecting world. What I'm saying is, let's start from the right framework. Let's start from, well, why would we even dream of passing a law that penalizes or criminalizes consensual activity? That's rights violating. I mean, with nuclear bombs, it's a pretty cut and dry thing, right? We don't need people out of nuclear bombs. But I would point out the following thing as well. The only way an individual can acquire a nuclear bomb is from a state. So we're talking about states, the problem.
You talked about consensual activities. What qualifies someone being capable of giving consent? I mean, a child can't give consent to have sex. Where should that cutoff be?
Correct. The issue of consent is complicated. It's well defined in the literature. You can find all the different aspects of consent that are necessary. You need to be fully informed. You need to be of age, which is basically a fully informed issue. You need to be of sound body and mind. You need to be of sound mind. So consent is, of course, an important issue, and I'm not disputing the importance of consent in making consensual choices. What I'm saying is we don't need to worry about that issue because that's not what's being debated. What's being debated is whether the government ought to legislate criminal penalties for consensual behaviors. And the answer is no. Assuming they're consensual means we assume all the standards of consent have been met.
But if someone were to sell you a nuclear bomb, and you're like, okay, you're gonna go to jail. What's wrong with that, really?
Okay, well, first of all, that because it's in the individual interest of every single person is a good reason why you would want to make an exception there. Okay, so it's like almost all the things that people want to criminalize, there's disagreement about it.
So my argument was correct. You basically don't care about individuals. You only care about groups of people.
Hold on. You didn't actually hear my answer, so you don't know that, right?
No, but I can basically...
Hold on. I'm in the middle of answering. But you gotta normally, it's in disagreement. So in this regard, that's one reason why we would say that's a reasonable exception. I know it's not a axiomatic reason. It's an appeal to popular sentiment on some level, but consensus is not actually an appeal to popular sentiment. It's an appeal to consensus, which is a much stronger argument. So in that regard, I would say consensus would be one reason to accept nuclear weapons and other large-scale weapons of mass destruction. Now, do you want to respond to that point? Okay, go ahead. You're going to have to live with this tomorrow. You're going to see it. It's going to embarrass you. I'm going to cut this shit, too, by the way. It's not going to look good. You can cut your own version if you'd like.
Okay, but just make sure that you cut, like, every single piece out.
Oh, no. I'm cutting the Eric version. You can cut the Jacob version if you want. Hey, I'll make you a fucking channel manager. You can cut it and put it up yourself. You can put up fucking 10 videos about it. That's your remedy, and it's a fair one.
Stop making...
Oh, you're actually, like, emotionally butthurt by this. Keep the videos posted raw and let people make their own decision. I think, like, when I first saw you, Eric, I thought you were sort of a preacher of truth and stuff. And therefore, I want you to, if you're about to post this shit, then fucking post it unedited.
Hey, the raw footage will be posted. Every little bit of this is going up in raw footage to one channel or another. But the main channel may get an edited version if Eric or someone else wants to create one. But all the raw footage is going up. I'm recording all of this regardless of what Eric is doing.
Okay, next, I want to demonstrate, Jacob, what it would have looked like had you answered my point. You would have said, if we take consensus as the reason, then we'd have to, number one, survey everybody. And how would we find out that everybody actually agreed? And who gets to determine what consensus is anyway? Isn't this just as mushy and a reference point as the ones you were making previously, Eric? Can you really distinguish between consensus and popular sentiment? Is that a strong argument? That would be responding on point, okay?
I really don't care about what people think about how this video is uploaded or what people consider of it. But I made a fair share of arguments during this discussion that hasn't been answered because you've been dodging the fucking bullet in the same way as Hillary Clinton.
Give me one or don't make the claim.
Okay, well, my inferior SI is pretty damn bad, but I can probably pinpoint 2 or 3 times you did it.
Name one or don't make the claim.
I can't. Just check the fucking videos, man.
Why do you believe it? You can't name one.
It's fucking true. Because it's fucking true. Because I witnessed it back then.
So you remember knowing it, but you don't know what it is.
I can't remember the details of it. No.
So in other words, you felt as though it might be contradictory. You can't remember the specifics. You can't really determine if it was or not because you can't use your TI on it. So
okay, so wait, bullshit. So now you're using the word, like the term, like you felt, in order to make sure that people think it's FI instead of TI.
If it has not been subjected to scrutiny, now you did not have the time in the real-time flow of the moment to subject it to adequate scrutiny to determine whether or not it's contradictory. You can't remember what it was, so we can't test it in public in the light of day and see if it was, so you're just making the claim out of your ass. That's the fact.
Eric, then fucking scrutinize it. Like Tiffany said that the raw footage is on YouTube. Watch it yourself.
You made the claim.
I don't have to prove anything to you.
You don't. That's true. But then nobody should take your claims seriously if you're going to make them and not substantiate them.
Themselves.
It's a claim and dispute, sir. That means you don't just get to say, oh, well, just trust me. The evidence is out there. I refuse to produce any of it or give you any examples, even paraphrase the examples.
Bullshit, because I'm not saying like the evidence is out there. I'm actually like pinpointing exact where they can find the evidence.
But why would they want to argue your position for you? Since it's in dispute, we should negate unless you establish that we should affirm.
Okay, can you rephrase that in a simpler terms?
I'm saying you're making a claim that this is so, and you're saying, no, you can find out for yourself, you can prove it to yourself. But why should we want to prove your claim since you are unwilling to do any of the legwork of establishing that claim?
What I'm saying is that you're basically bullshitting me, and what I'm saying is like, let the viewers do their own research. Let the viewers watch the videos themselves and make their own conclusion about it, but without being biased about like how you respond to it.
Okay, I mean, I don't feel any need to instruct anybody on how they're going to deal with anything, right? That's my point, is people will watch if they feel like it, and they'll draw whatever conclusions they will. Maybe they will conclude on your side. I don't give a fuck. My point is, you're wrong, and I've pointed this out multiple times, and you just keep trying to avoid that fact. So,
and I think you're a hypocrite, Eric.
But see, it's like there's a difference. You're a hypocrite is something that you feel. You're wrong is something I've proved.
You're a hypocrite, and I can prove it. Like, sort of due to TI.
So let's prove it. Let's move on now, and we'll go prove it later.
I've said this 50 fucking times. Give me an example.
Talking with famous people.
First, you want to like dismiss the discussion because you know you're wrong. Deep inside, you know that something I'm saying is right. Don't interrupt me because I know you want to.